Hello again. We are back for another episode of McMasters Chronicles. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Joy. And we talk about how in the group that we were in, they have like terms for things. And they would call the financial demands that they would put on the people the need. There is this great need. And they would encase this need in spirituality, biblical spirituality. So it would be like, pastors are worthy of double honor is one. Do not muzzle the ox is another one, is another Bible verse that they would use. Just really strong spiritual abuse that they would use to make you feel compelled. And so there would be, at first it started as, we had mentioned before, a medical bill. And then we needed to pay the medical bill. And then we needed to pay for another pastor's salary. And then we needed to pay for another pastor's salary. And then, so it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And kind of to unattainable reaches.
Especially for the number of
members. And we have videos on candy selling and fundraising, and we have videos on the financial abuse aspect of that. But I wanted to really analyze this feeling of people who are in there who have to provide definitely have this kind of just this very deep, very sunken knowing of this need is always going to be here. And this need just keeps getting there. And even though like you can start off with a lot of hope and a lot of affection and a lot of care, and then it's just still comes back. It just comes back. It comes back. Well, we've seen how this understanding of the need has been expressed to leaders in there, and those leaders have used this vulnerability in communication to then mock the congregants about their inappropriate attitude towards the need, how it's not from the Holy Spirit. And we just want to call that out as what we believe that is emotional abuse, and them really suppressing your emotion and suppressing your expression of what's really going on in there. And we also want to get you to question, why is the need always there? What is it going towards? What is the condition of these individuals that are receiving benefits from this need that is being brought in? I would think about that. I would consider that. If the majority of the need is always going towards select individuals, and this has been the case for a period of 10 years.
More than that, but yeah.
10 years when we were aware of it. Then that is highly suspicious behavior. If the integrity or the promotion of the ministry is dependent on you still, in the sense of like you have to bring in the need, and then you also have to minister to souls, and the souls can't be ministered to until the need's been met, because the need has to be met. And if the need's not met, then your Christianity is on the line. But then also you're not ministering to souls because you got to bring the need in. If you find yourself in that situation, wherever you are at, you may not have even been in the place we have been in, but know that that is a red flag. Know that your affections for everyone, your affections for the leaders in there, your affections for God, and your affection for souls, it is being highly manipulated. But I would really think about that. I would really think about, where is this need going? And has it ever actually gone to the thing that you actually feel very passionate about, or that you have a passion for? And it can be very easy to be like, well, there's been so many disruptions by people leaving. And so we are one of those people that have left. So I can understand that. And that is a disruption, because it takes the focus. Like, we had the predominant responsibility of providing for that need. And it takes that and it puts it onto you. And that's something that Jonathan and I are very aware of. And we don't want you to have to feel that way that we felt. And we're aware that us leaving leaves that gap, because we also had that happen to us, where when someone would leave, we felt that pressure. But we need to give credit where credit is due. And we need to acknowledge truths of this situation. One of them being, this need has been going on for decades. And no matter the attempts, no matter how hard we work, no matter how this or that, more is demanded, more is required that are beyond our ability. And we believe that more is being required from you that is beyond your ability. And you've been probably given information or given future faking messages, future faking sermons of how God will provide, and how the deliverance is coming, and how this and how that. And not to impugn God, because God is not in this. God is not in this. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, because God is not going to bless an organization that is actually really hurting people and really not doing anything to forward the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I would really consider, why is there a need? I would really go to the end of that and not let another person make you suppress that emotion, make you suppress that problem, and make you kind of like cut that off and try to change direction so you have a better attitude. No, I would really, really question, why has there been this whole time? And why is okay, how many people have left that place, you think?
I don't even know, 75 plus?
Do you really think 75 people have all made the same mistakes and were unable to do it for this very strange, obscure reason that they come up with? I think not. I think not.
Along with all of that about the need and how it's used, is just the one word, and I remember this specifically for myself, of how they would blame me for not making enough money, was they would say that I'm complaining about being too busy, which we know they're saying that now, that you're too busy. Well, what happens is they give you so much stuff to do and then blame you for saying you're too busy for something. And a big thing that they do is whenever you, they're like, why are you not ministering? Like you mentioned, why are you not witnessing? Why you're using being too busy as an excuse? Well, what they do is they say, you've got to make this need, you've got to bring in all this money, and you've got to minister, and you got to take care of your family, and you got to relate with the people in the church and have fellowship with them. and you need to rest and take it. So like it's literally physically impossible, everything that they say. But then they mock you for saying that you're busy because, you know, you should be handling it better. You should be doing things that are more productive in a less amount of time. The pastor would always be like, you need to do something where you make more money in a shorter amount of time. I'm like, okay, that's way easier said than done.
Something I would always like back, like when, like I never really liked it. I never really liked this situation. I think that's pretty clear. But like something I would really like question and be like, do they just like not get how the world works? Do they not understand business? I would go to my innocent, this is like my innocent list of being like, maybe they just don't get it. Maybe they just don't understand.
I personally do not think that's the
case. It is not the case. I personally believe that it is intentional. They intentionally used the tactics, abusive tactics, to get people to do what they wanted to do. But when you're in it, you're not thinking this person is the worst person ever. You're loving that person. You are honoring that person. You are not seeing the bad as much as you are seeing the good.
So an example, it's just like, it just is just so bad when I think about it. But an example is, it was the last year. It was really, I think it was 2024, really when it happened. And let's just like paint the picture here. At this point, I am the only person there providing for any of the pastors, any of the church. I am literally the last person there. We're providing an exorbitant amount of money. And I'm also taking care of the pastor emeritus's house, mowing his yard, weeding his grass. Again, this is after my 5th open heart surgery. Washing his car, taking care of any things that need to be fixed in his house. And also working a full-time job, also running 3 businesses, also trying to have time at home, take care of myself. So let's just trying to paint the picture of everything that's happening. And then because I don't communicate, go back and watch our communication video with him frequently enough about the things, his water heater being fixed or whatever. I'm lazy. I should be over at his house at 6 a.m. to take care of things, to make sure that they're done. The way that I do things is just very lackadaisical, and I'm not doing things. I should just go get it done instead of letting it linger. So his idea was I was just letting it linger, totally ignoring everything that I was doing in between, and just saying that I should just do it right away. Well, the problem with that for him is he just keeps adding one thing after another. So there is no just go take care of it and it's done. There's a million things.
There have been studies on this, and cult groups will get people to the point of just exhaustion.
Yeah.
So that they cannot.
But then they make you. It would make me feel like I'm just like super lazy or whatever. Whenever the reality was, no, I was very diligent, very busy, and he was just making these unrealistic.
Another thing I would like to point out is, like, because you're not gonna think like these people are horrible. You've known them your whole life, at least us. We knew them our whole lives. Our own family members worshiped them, heralded them, obeyed them. Like, some literally worshiped them. Some didn't really worship them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they said they're these great people. You're not going to think like they're horrible right off the bat. And I definitely didn't really enjoy being around them because they would do things that were very bad and uncomfortable. But like, you're not going to think the worst at first. And that's what they really use. It's like when it's a pastor, you're not going to think a pastor is going to do this to you.
No.
When it's a family friend, you're not going to think a father figure Like, you're not going to think that. So, like, that's why it is so extreme to, like, go from what it was like in there to actually see them for who they are as being abusive towards us. And something that really, really I very much see is so clearly is how they use the vulnerable, how they used me and my situation and my history. And then they further took that information to hurt me further with it. They used my abuse history to further abuse me. How is that even possible? Like, how is this even a pastor? Like, how is this even possible? Yeah. They use someone who should have been a son, someone who should have been a precious person to them, who had a heart condition, multiple heart surgeries, and they used him. They used you. Yeah. They're using people in there as we speak with very serious health conditions. And those people love them, and they respond to their, I don't know, ploys. They respond to their ploys with such intention, with such affection, without actually knowing who they are. And this is why we speak. And and all they do, the leaders, is they just mock everything of your reality. Vulnerability. Yeah, and just like reality of things, like, this is too much, this is too much, this is too much. No, you're just using being too busy as an excuse. I remember very clearly, like, opening up and saying, hey, what's happening with Jonathan? This is crazy. Like, this is not good for Jonathan. Then I didn't communicate enough. It was turned on to me. I was not communicating about it. So I was like, okay, well. And then I remember telling Jonathan, and he's like, you got to tell this person, you got to tell them that this isn't okay. And you told them, and there is an entire message on how, some twisting of scripture. It happens so many times you can't even. Probably the Israelites complaining in the wilderness. Oh, that's when they use all the time. Is that there are spies in the camp? Mm-hmm. There's like spies, and then the spies had a bad report. So anytime you have a bad report, you're not walking in faith. Right. You're not walking in faith. Yeah. Instead of actually, you're seeing things for what you're actually not crazy. You actually see things. But then when you bring up the things that you see, you are gaslit. And that is where you re-enter in to that abuse. But you have to be able to see these patterns. And you also have to know that no matter how much you want it to be, where in a normal relationship, you bring these issues to them, and those issues can be talked about and can be resolved. They cannot be in this situation. No. With these individuals, like we have said before, they use Darvo, gaslight, manipulation, spiritual abuse, your own vulnerabilities against you to get out of accountability. They will not accept accountability for their behavior. Ever. So you have to know that even though you want to go to them and it to be fixed and it to be resolved, that it cannot be. And that is a hard thing to face. And when you face it, you start crying. You start trying to find ways where it can't be that way, where to try to stay, to try to work it out. But you're not the problem here. You are not the problem here. If you have trouble, if you have trouble remembering a time ever when the leader or the pastor took responsibility or accountability for something that you brought up to them or somebody in the church brought up to them, and you got to go back 20 plus years for that,
to even think of maybe one example, that is a big, big red flag. And that's what you're saying. They never take accountability. It's always going to be flipped back on you. It's always going to be your lack of communication, your busyness, your
Or
this,
it's going to
your
be
that,
someone else in the they
or
do
somebody
scapegoats
else's.
and
Yeah.
they do scapegoats, someone else's fault in
Yeah.
the congregation.
But anyway, thank you again for listening to another one of our videos. We hope this is very helpful. Please comment, like, share, repost, anything like that, just to help to get this word out.